Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ITSnippets. Today I'm going to see what's salvageable out of my 12-year-old gaming rig for my next build. So let's get started. Things that you will actually need for this is a toolkit, in my case an iFixit toolkit. And you can just see coming in the side of the frame there, that is a metal parts tray that's magnetic for holding the screws. And you should always have spare screwdrivers should you require. Now this gaming rig hasn't been used in 12 years, it's been living in a cupboard. And as you can see, there's corrosion here, so it's got dampness or wet. And it's all over the graphic card, so that won't be salvageable. Underneath here, I have a USB card. That's not going to be salvageable either. However, the parts I'm interested in mainly are here. Now obviously I've taken the side panels off these. To be fair, I can't remember the last time I had the side panels on it. And I'm not really too worried about this mess here. But here we have a Blu-ray writer, a Blu-ray reader, a removable SATA hard drive that's hot swappable, and a DVD rewriter. So firstly I'm going to remove them. I can show you some of the corrosion before I do so. As you can see, the back part is pretty much mangled, so something's been dripping against this in the cupboard where I've been keeping it. But the drives at the front appear to be fine. So let's just grab a screwdriver. Probably a Phillips 0 will fit, so let's try that. So Phillips 0. And what I need to do is there's none there, but there's a screw there, one there, none in this one, and one there. And there will also be screws around the back side, so let's just see if we can remove these. Okay, that's too small. Okay, I thought that was a bit small. So this is a Phillips 2. That seems a bit better. So I'm simply just going to unscrew these by turning them left. I'm going to do the same for all the screws on this side. And hopefully when I take them out, oh, that one does look a bit okay. That one's a bit stuck. Place those in there just now. Find a heavier duty screwdriver. Now that one, oh, I thought that one was too big, it's not. I'm hoping that these aren't as corroded as they look. So that's them all out there. I can take the power and the SATA out of here if I like. I'm hopefully going to take that out next. We'll just swing that around. Again, you can see more corrosion from it living in a cupboard. I'm just removing the screws one at a time. Obviously, if you're installing these again, then you should install them with more than one screw on each side. As the firmer those screws hold the drive, the less vibration there is. And the less vibration there is, then the quieter the drives should be, or the quieter the system should be. Okay, so with those unscrewed, as you can see, they're pretty loose. So I'm going to flip it back around. And I should get on my knees for this. What I want to do is I want to follow these USB cables, or rather SATA cables. Just pull them out. They should be fine once I clean them up a bit. I don't need to worry about power, hopefully. Although there are power splitters there which don't seem to be too bad a neck. They could probably be reused. Okay. That's got a small hard disk drive light, which I can now just slide this out the front. And the one I'm worried about. Okay, so that's got some damage on it. It's got a lot of damage on it actually. So that may actually be broken. I may open that in another tutorial. So we'll leave that to the side just now. Again, I'll try and find the SATA cable. And pull it out. And I'll move the power cable. And same for the top one. Okay, so these should now slide out. And there we go. We have a Blu-ray writer, a Blu-ray reader, and a hot swap SATA hard drive that has been removed and ready to install in a new rig. This is very well packed. We just got to hopefully just score the sellotape. I can't say that's not well packed. So we've got polystyrene here, which looks like I just left out, obviously our main case. And polystyrene on the bottom. Now this case weighs 19 kilograms, empty. So it's not exactly the lightest thing in the world. So I'm expecting this to be built a bit like a beast. So let's get out the case and find out. Or get it out the box rather and find out. Okay, let's get the bag off. So the first noticeable thing about this is it feels well built. Like obviously I've barely manhandled it, but like these feel well built. These handles are definitely metal. So is this. This is plastic. But the chassis is all metal. insert it here. You can see there's a key for opening and closing the front door. Open that up. Just tip that down a bit. There we go. We have two 120mm fans here, and that's a bit rough, but that's 3 5¼ inch drive bays there. So that's them out. On the rear we have two 80mm fans and a fan splitter. I'll reach in here. It has sharp edges, so that's not perfect, but again, this isn't the world's most expensive case. This is all the front I/O cables. Let's tuck them back in there just now and see how we take this top off. My guess is it will be a couple of screws, although I don't see where. So it does look like the top part just slides off. Oh, something else I didn't show you is those dust filters built into the front of the case. So they're for the power supply, so it's not them. And the manual appears to be inside it, so I can't really reach in for that. So give me a moment to work this out. Okay, so there's a screw here and a screw here, but they're black and very easy to miss. As I say, here and here. Oh, I put my part straight at the wrong side. And it's the same on the opposite side. Okay, now this should just slide back, which it does, and then I can lift this off. Okay, so we're now inside. So we have a bar here, which I believe is used for cable management. Though I'm not 100% sure, although I'm not sure what these are for, I have to admit. Answers in the comments. These appear to be for screwing things into. Again, not 100% sure on that one. However, the main reason I bought this case is there's these drive cages, which don't look very sturdy if I'm being honest, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 3 5¼ inch drives that I pointed out when we opened the front of the case. So there's cables I showed you earlier, so it seeps inside the box. So there's a few motherboard standoffs in here, but not many. We have a speaker. I'm not sure what that is. Looks like more of these things on the top, maybe replacement ones. It could be blanking plates. I'm not sure about that one. A baggie of screws. And the manual. So, front I/O, we have power and reset, and we have 2 USB 2s, I presume. Key lock, air filter, the 220mm fans that I pointed out. Hard disk drive release module. Okay. For 8 3.5 inch drives, and the front I/O, which is then exploded there. Features: supports ATX 12 inch, CEB 12 inch by 10 inch, that would be ATX 12 inch by 9.6 inch, form factor motherboards, and a PS2 power supply. 4 fans included, offer expandable cooling capacity for your chassis. HDD support includes 8 x 3.5 inch internal and 3 x 5.5 external. Door of the front panel is lockable with key provided. Removable air filter inside the door can be removed and washed. LEDs to indicate the following: machine state, power, HDD LED, and network interface card. Okay. Installation guide, remove the top. Great, I had to remove the top to get into it. So, you know, hard drive installation, basically push these clips and slide the cage out by the looks of it. Ah, so if you push these, you can slide the full module out the front. That's what that's about. As you see, you can roll all 4 drives out at once. What else is in here? Okay, how to install the drives in the cage. How to install optical disk drives. Although interestingly that's showing 3.5 inch drives. Okay, this might not be quite as easy a build as I was expecting, however. And then it shows you motherboard standoffs. Apparently it's given us 3. Really? There's only 3 in there. 1, 2, 3. Nah, there's more than 3 in there, so there must be 3 spare. Must be in the bag, yes. Yeah, so there's some motherboard standoffs in the bag, yes. 6 smaller ones for the power supply, 20 motherboard ones and 20 hard drive screw ones. There's also 6 rails for the hard disk drives. Ah, okay. So those will be for placing on the hard disk drives. And then the hard disk drives will go into the chassis, I think. Yeah. Time will tell. Anyway, it's rack mount, it's 4U, it's 1.0 SGCC case material, no idea what that is. It's 4U form factor, as mentioned, 2 x 120 fans in the front, 2 x 8 in the back, 3 5.25 inch drives, 8 3.5 inch drives, 7 expansion slots. And that's pretty much it. So what else can I tell you about this case? Well, this bar appears to be removable, so that's good. That'll give me more room to work when trying to get the motherboard in. but I don't actually know what else, if I'm being honest. I can tell you. So I guess we're just going to have to move forward to the build. Okay, a little addendum to this. You press on these two here, and the hard drive cage slides out. Here's your 120mm fan. However, the power cable for it is literally in here. So that's how you get the drive cages out. And something I didn't mention previously is it's a standard ATX power supply size. So this should be fun. As you can see, it's a very nice design box. Not much on it apart from it's Ryzen compatible, obviously. Desktop 5000 series ready. PCI Gen 4, overclocking supported, and Lightning Gen 4. AMD Ryzen 2000, 3000, 5000 series compatible, just at the bottom of the frame there. Not much else on the rest of the box, to be fair. Some specs, but nothing major. Let's see if I can read the specs for spinning this round. No, because that'll be upside down. And the writing is tiny. What do we have here? HD audio and gigabit Ethernet PCI 4.0 x16 slots, support for ultra high speed DIMMs, and basically the same thing it said about what are supported versions of Ryzen. So let's see what's inside the box. Pop this open. Obviously, there's the main deal here. Here's our motherboard. So let's just lift that out just now. Jesus, that's heavy. Okay, and we have a little box of tricks. So this just folds up. And out of the way. As I doink my camera. We have here a MSI branded USB key. Considering this is going to go in a NAS build, that could be useful. Two SATA cables by the looks of it. One is right angled and one is straight. A MSI pin badge or sticker, I think it's a sticker. These are colours for the heat shield that is on the motherboard punch out plate. An MSI rewards program thing. Thank you for choosing MSI. I like killing trees. A little MSI catalogue. A MSI review and competition. A MSI quick start guide. A rather large MSI manual. What crap. And a baggie of screws, which I'm presuming is for the multiple SSDs that this can take, or rather NVMEs. So for the time being, we'll place them back in there. You plug it back over there, that one goes there, that goes there. I can put this down. Just move this to the side. Get out of our way for now. Okay, touch something metal. Ground myself. Okay, you can tell this is a high-end motherboard, you can actually feel it. So if we place that on there, we have a M2 slot here. This is the part you can customize with stickers I mentioned. 4 RAM slots. Probably going to have to get closer to actually ID some of these things. That looks like another M2 slot. I guess there's also one hiding under here, although I could be wrong with that. We have 2 slots for Crossfire. These are PCI 4 16 slots. And we have 2 smaller slots. These will be for my networking probably. One of my HBAs I've got an HBA card and a networking card that need to go in here, 10 gig Ethernet. Mounting for the CPU. Just pick this monster up and flip it over. Okay, and you can see why I purchased this. We have PS2 connection. We have two USB 2 connections, two USB 3 connections, HDMI, BIOS reset button, USB 3, 3 more USB 3 connections, onboard audio including optical, but the coup de grace is we have gigabit Ethernet and 2.5 gig Ethernet. So as this is what we built in a NAS, that would be perfect. Roll that onto there. Let's see what else we've got. So we have our motherboard power connection here. We have a 4-pin and a 6-pin over here. Our front I/O is down here. Some front USB here. And this will be our CPU fans. That is an onboard header for, oh, just can't see that. That is the onboard header for front USB-C. I don't have that in case this is going to, so that won't be affected by that. This machine is also going to be booting from USB, so it won't be using that either. It won't be using the M2 either, should I say. So yeah, I mean, all in all, that's a nice looking board. It's really heavy, like a lot heavier than I was expecting. And it's looking good. And the next time you see it, it will be inside a NAS. As you see, I have my MSI MAG X57AS Torpedo Max motherboard. I have my AMD Ryzen 7 5700G. I have my Corsair Vengeance LPX 2x16. And just off to the side you can see I have a power supply. This is a modular power supply. It's a Corsair RM750, which you can just see on the side. Appears to be upside down. Interesting, because that looks the right way up to me. Maybe it's just the logo that's upside down. In any case, let's get building. So first thing we need to do is take our motherboard out of the box. And we're going to use the motherboard case, or motherboard box itself rather, to do this test. So you should have an anti-static strap on. I can't reach mine just now. Oopsie, hold on. Take this out, place it on here. So depending on your motherboard and depending on your cooling, you may have to change things here. I suspect I'll have to unscrew these in order to mount my cooling fan. It's just slightly off camera. Let me just move that back into the frame and just go grab my tools. Hopefully I'll only need a star screwdriver for this. And I'm now practicing what I preach. I have my anti-static strap on and I need to find something metal to connect it to. That's not going to interfere with what I'm doing. So there we go, I'm now connected to my desk. Okay, so we should take out our CPU and place it in first. You might be able to hear spike in the background. That's unfortunately what happens as soon as I hit the record button. So here we go, as you can see, this is unopened. I'm just going to take my blade, slide it across here. This CPU does come with a cooler. If yours doesn't, then you'll actually have to get a separate cooler. There is my CPU. A little warranty card by the looks of it. A little certificate of authenticity. And here is my included Wraith cooler. It does actually say in the box the cooler is included. And there we go. So we're just going to empty that out of the box just now. As you can see, this does have some thermal paste on it. Feel free to replace that, add to it as required. This one's going to be stock because I am going to be upgrading it at some point anyway, so I'm just going to leave it as is. You can take that part off, and you can see we have our power cable just wrapped around the outside. Okay, so let's place this over here for now. In fact, I can hover over and try and see. Okay, so it looks like that goes on that way, which means that I do have to remove these retaining brackets here. So we just take our star screwdriver. So once those 4 screws are removed, these just lift off. Okay, and we should remove or roll back this retaining arm all the way back. Okay. Now you're going to see my bald head as I try and find, there's a little triangle there, and it looks like it's marked over here at the top. And there's a little triangle on your CPU as well, so I believe that should go in that way. So let me just open my CPU. And this should just be placed on and fall into place, which it did. And then we should be able to push the retaining arm down, and there shouldn't be any resistance. If there's any resistance or the chip doesn't go in correctly, lift up a bit and then place it back down. So now we shall take our cooler. We need to find out where our CPU fan header is. Just move this up a frame a bit, which is marked here. So that's where we will be connecting our CPU fan, which is here. So we want to try and route that as best as possible. This has to go on this way, so we could take it all the way around, but that'd be a bit tension-wise. Or we can do it this way, and that makes it nice and close. So this way, we'd probably be pushing it to go round, or this way where it might not be so bad. So we're going to try it this way and put less pressure on it. So we just try and line this up correctly. That way. Okay. Okay. Now what we want to do is tighten these up. Just a little bit each time, not too tight, and we want to do it at opposing angles, which I have tightened this one too much, so I'm going to have to unscrew it a bit. These are on springs, so I may have to press them down a little bit. Oh, that noise is terrible. So we're just going to try and get them started in each of the corners. Let's move our CPU cable out of it just now. That noise does not sound healthy. So they seem about as tight as they were when I took them off. So we'll want to take our CPU fan plug and connect it. As you see, it's notched, so it should only go in one way. There we go. Hang that over here just now. And we'll take our RAM and we need to open these two slots here. Obviously, another component that you may have is a graphic card, which I'm not putting in this as it has onboard graphics, and for what I'm using it for, that's fine. We have our RAM open. What we need to do is we need to take our sticks of RAM and look at the notch. And with these fully open, we try and line the notch up by sliding it in. That seems okay. And then we press down with both thumbs on each side until we hear the click. Hear that? So put it in, making sure these are fully open. Press down with both thumbs until you hear the click, and you can see that these have jumped into place. Okay. So we now have our cooler powered, we now have our CPU in, and we now have our RAM in. We have to get power to the motherboard. So I have a modular power supply for this. So things need to remember here. This is your 24-pin motherboard. Here is your 8-pin CPU, and I also have a +4 CPU in this because this motherboard is overclockable. You don't, if you have the 8 and the 4, you don't have to fill on all 8 and 4. I'm not 100% sure how that goes with my current power supply. So as a result of that, I'm hoping I'm not going to connect it. So with that in mind, my power supply is connected but is not plugged in, so I have the power cable connected. So now I just have to sort out this rat's nest of modular cables. So I will need the 24-pin motherboard one. As you can see, this one's for the CPU, so I will need one of them. And I think for now, just for testing purposes, that's all I will need. So let me get these connected. So we just untangle these. Now these should be keyed, so I can only put them in one way, as in the correct way. So I believe this one should go in here, like so. Okay, now obviously I'll route these better later on. And it should go into, that's actually upside down. There, I believe. So which way does it go? Does it go that way? It does. Okay. I sat down just now. And then we'll take our 24-pin. That doesn't seem right. So this will be the motherboard side, and this will be the power supply side, hopefully. So let's just try that. Okay, that appears to be correct. So let's roll that round, find the notch which is there, and then slide this in with my screwdriver out of the way. Okay, so let's try and move this out of the way. So now we have our power connected, we have our CPU power connected, and we have our CPU fan connected. So what else will we need connected? We will need a HDMI cable. Okay, I have one here. And this will have to go into the back of the motherboard. Here. You'll just, if I slide that forward, you'll see that's been connected. Okay. So I think we're about to power this up and try it. Now there's no hard drive connected to this at the moment. But I can boot it to a USB version of DOS just to check that it's actually working. So I'll take my USB stick. Move that back into frame. Try this cable out of the way. Okay. So I should now have the minimum in here that I require in order to test. So let me plug it in and test. The power supply is turned off, so this should be fine. Okay. So now we need to turn the power supply on. Okay. You need to find GP1, which is this one here, and you need to short out the two power on pins. There we go. Our fan is on. It's slowing down because it doesn't need to work as hard. Let's see if I can get a picture on the screen. I'm not getting output on the screen. Let me follow that HDMI cable just in case it's incorrect. Okay, so it is actually posting, it just wasn't posting to my capture card. It says Ryzen 7 5700G with Radeon graphics. DRAM frequency 2600 MHz. I think that's slow. Yep, it should be 3600 MHz. But I'll be able to change that. It's seeing 32 gig of RAM. And I should probably get a picture of this to prove what I'm seeing. So it's basically stopped saying that it can't detect any devices. And to enter setup to configure the system. So give me a moment. So I don't have a keyboard and mouse connected to this, so I can't go in and set the settings just now. However, it's turned on enough to test, and I'll now go and put it inside the case. Okay, now that we've got our components tested, we need to start preparing our case. The first thing we're going to have to do is make some room. So we're going to take this bar out, here, and it looks like it's just 2 screws at the side, and they are standard Phillips. And now this bar just lifts out, so we'll put that to the side for now. So this is in our parts tray. I'm just going to tip the case sideways a little. So over here, unlock the front. I'm going to remove the 2 hard drive cages. To do this, I need to press these 2 down and then push them behind, and then I need to lift this up. And basically wriggle the cage out. There we go, one cage removed. Now for the other one. Okay. And now with these removed, I can remove our hard drive sleds. So I'm going to remove them from the other one first. You can also see we have access to our fans here. And our fan cables are locked in the back there, so we'll need to move them to the front. Now by the looks of things, these leads just pull out. Yep. Okay. With our drive sleds out, we can reach in and try and unravel our fan's power cords. There we go. Okay. So these seem to come down past the side of the hard drives. You see that's a Molex splitter. Camera will focus, there we go. So for the time being I'm only placing 4 hard drives in here. So I'll jump over to my desk after we've put the motherboard in, and I will install the hard drives in the caddies for this. Okay, now to put the drives in the sleds. I've already taken the sleds out of our container. As you can see, they are here. And if we look closely, it looks like these already have built-in markers, at least some of them do. It's interesting. There's 2 missing from that one. Okay. Well, that's a bit rubbish. Anywho, for the time being, it will do. Let's take one of our Exyos drives. Get something to open it with. Oh, that's a cool. Okay, so this is the back of the sled here. So in theory, we have to line these screws up with the side of the drive and then stretch them into place. And it doesn't quite look like these line up. Okay. So I need to find out how to take these out. Looks like they just pop out. Because although these are tool-free design, it's looking like I'm going to have to connect the front to. Okay, so it looks like you pop these out anyway. So let's pop them all out. Okay, and then try and pop it back in. Honestly, this looks a lot easier in the manual than it actually is. I'm actually beginning to wonder if I've broke these. No. they just slide in. So back in here, place that hole there, place that down, and if I slide it forward, I should actually be able to get both holes in. These are really, really fiddly. Okay, I've clipped that in. I'm going to try and do both sides again and see if I was doing something wrong previously. Okay, so I've got the 4 back in. Take my hard drive, put the front 2 anchored in. This is not as easy as they make out. There we go, that's the front 2 in. There's one of the back 2. I'm going to have to fold this one down a bit, hopefully press this into place. Rubber's oddly shaped as well, it doesn't really help. Okay, there might be an issue with this one, so let me put that to the side just now. Try number 2. So again, try and line up the front pin. And if I can, the rear pin. Okay. And then try and do the same on the opposite side. Okay. That mostly worked. There we go. Okay. So basically don't take them out. Let me swap this for one of the drive sleds, since there's 2 missing. Yeah. There's number 3. This one's not wanting to open. again, take our sled, take our hard drive and try and get the front two in, or rather one side in. There we go. And then the other side. There we go. See, it's easy when everything works and you're not taking things apart. Okay, drive number 4. Again, doesn't want to open. No, that one's not going to sit right. Okay, I need to fix this one. Shit. The plastic or rubber bits popped out. Okay, rather than you watching nothing, I'm going to stop this just now and try and fix these 2 broken ones. Okay, unfortunately I had to stop there because that was a pain in the backside. I've now got all of the drives in. So we're going to take our drive cage. And what we need to do is to take our drive sled and hopefully line it up. Making sure we keep our cover below. And then just slowly slide it in. Yeah, first drive in. You need to keep putting pressure on these to ensure they're in the right place, and you'll hear them click when they are. Just flip this up, see if I can get a better purchase on it. There we go. And then 3. And finally the last one. This doesn't feel right, that one's off. Hopefully this one fits, it's not quite feeling right. Here we go. And there we go. There's our 4 drives, and they're sitting in our cradle. So, when placing the motherboard in, you need to check the motherboard standoffs. These are these little things here. Now there appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on here. Nope, 7, 8, 9. So there does appear to be 9 in here. Hopefully that's enough, and hopefully they're in the right places. So let me pick up my motherboard. And my anti-static strap, if you're wondering, is on my leg, wrapped around my ankle. The weight of this motherboard. Okay. If your system has a back plate for your motherboard, you would place that in the relevant position here. This one's is built in, so hopefully all I have to do is place this in and line it up. Okay. So now what we need is an extra light, because some of my motherboard standoffs do not match up. So I'll just use my phone. Okay, can I hang that over there? No, I can't. Right. I'll just have to work it out. Okay, it looks like these are nowhere even close to where I need them to be. Yeah, that one's fine. That one should be fine. That one's fine. Let's see what is in the middle again. That one's not, nor is that one, or that one, and these three definitely aren't. Okay, so we need to fix that. So we need to take our motherboard out again. And work out where these go. So these should be thumb tight, but in true fashion they are not. Let's see if my iFixit toolkit has an install. I'd like to think it would. There we go. So we have a nut spanner. Need to take these three out. They are in there. Can I get that one? See, this is when iFixit toolkits are not great. Right, we get them to move. Good start. Right. That one's moving. Okay. I've rated my motorbike tool collection and found something that might work, so let's find out. There we go. Okay. We just have to line them up correctly again. So again, we take our motherboard, and try and place it in the correct place. Okay. And then we look for the little holes. So we've got one here, one there. So one, these as little markers to move in closer. And there should be one roughly in line with each of these dots up here. So let's just lift that back out. Move these in one. I think that's correct. Let's screw them in and find out. If I can figure it out with my torque wrench. Just flip it across. Just take it off. There we go. To go. Go. Okay. And the next three should be in line with the double dots. In my case here. And I should probably check that this ribbon's still in frame. Is it? Yeah, enough of that is. Right. So I'm guessing here. And here. And here. Okay, back to my torque wrench. Right, hopefully now, when I place this back in, these will all be lined up. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. See the bottom ones? Yes. Yes. And yes. Just slightly off. Okay. With them in, we need our motherboard screws. And probably back to our star screwdriver. take our baggie of screws that came with our motherboard. Motherboard ones are generally larger and flatheads. I need 9 of them. I think I've got them. So we ensure this is lined up correctly. We take our screw, flat-headed screw, and lightly screw it down to the motherboard. There we go. And we do this for all 9 screws. So get the easy ones first. Okay, and the final 2 are in awkward positions, so I'm going to have to change position to see these. And the final one is right next to the VRMs here. Okay. With our motherboard in, we should now install our power supply. Just move these cables out of the way. I can lift that back up just now. And flip this around. So our power supply is here, and it's a big fan on it. The fan's actually in the bottom, and it will blow air out the back, so it's trying to pull the air in and push it across. So we're going to want to try and keep that fan at the bottom so it's not suffocated against the back of the case. So let's try and line this up. See if I can get you a better view of what I'm doing here. So there's 4 holes for securing your power supply here. I'm just trying to check that the main line up. Yeah, you just have to lift the power supply a little. So let's get our power supply screws. Power supply screws generally look like this one. Full focus. There we go. So I need 4 of these. So we need this on our star screwdriver. Hopefully it'll focus back in here. And we need to try and set our power supply in the correct position in order to align and screw it in correctly. It doesn't help that this is a black power supply, of course. It makes lighting challenging. Especially when trying to do this on camera. Actually, should be okay. I'm just trying to align the correct hole with the screw. Hopefully, I should get it to bend. There we go. Once the first one's in, it should hold it enough in place. The rest to be a lot easier. That's 2 of the 4 in. There we go. That's our power supply fitted. Okay. Okay. So now we've got our power supply installed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these cables here. Now, with this being a server case and this not being a server motherboard, things will be slightly different. But I'll have to try and get you a better view because the part I'm interested in is in here. So I'm going to pick the case up and just turn it around. You will need your manual for this part. And this is going to be difficult to see because I'm dealing with these pins over here. Is this different from each motherboard? What I show you here is not necessarily going to be relevant unless you're using this exact motherboard. So I have my manual, which shows me the pin outs for JFP1, which is jumper front panel, which is here. And it says that these two are my power LEDs, then my power switch, and behind them we have the reset switch and the hard drive LEDs. So with that in mind, I need to separate out these cables, so I need to remove the wacky band. These cables are quite long, but I still think the best way to feed these through would be around here and down here, and hopefully I can place some excess under the hard drive cages when they're back in. So if we look at these, the camera might not be able to focus on it, right. But that says VCC, so I don't know what that one's about. That one's VCC, so I don't know what that's about. Here we have our power and reset switches, it's written on here. And these are our hard drive LEDs and our power LEDs. We also have NIC LED1 and NIC LED2 if you have a motherboard which supports showing the network card status. So these two, pinned together because they're right next to each other, should go in here. Okay. Then we need to take our hard drive LEDs. No, I have just done that wrong. There you go, that's why you pay attention. So let's remove it. So you need to fold these over for power and reset. Okay. And then we need to take our hard disk drive LEDs and power LEDs. So hard drives on the far away one. So I need to turn this around slightly and do it this way. Okay, hard drive one went on okay. Power LED one is fading. Obviously this has made it a lot more difficult when trying to film it. Cool. I think we've got one more going. Let's look. Yep. And that's why you've got to be careful, because I just ended up taking the two off that were in the correct position. Okay, they are now in. So I want to try and cable manage this as best I can, hopefully using the gap underneath the drive trays. Okay, that's not perfect, but I'll get back to that at a later date. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll put our hard drive slaves back in. Only one of my 4 hard drive bays is actually populated, or rather one set of 4 hard drive bays is populated. I'm going to put both back in. but I'm going to put one back in so I can see. But I'm going to put one back in so I can see how I'm going to cable manage those drives. So I've made sure that the fan cable has been fed through correctly. This is just simply the reverse process of actually removing it. Take our 4 drives, feed the cable through, lift the shaft up, and slide it all the way back in. Obviously I've still got the hole here for the other hard drive tray. I am putting some 5 1/4 inch drives in, so I need to see the best way I can do that. Let's get more of our hardware in before we worry about the cables, because I've got a funny feeling that's going to be a bit of a nightmare anyway. So I'm going to insert my optical disc drives. Now I have 2 DVD Blu-ray rewriters going in, and I have a hot swappable removable SATA connector. I'm not sure if that'll work, so I might have to replace that with a DVD writer at some point in the future, but we shall see. So this case seems to just have some rails. If I can get it in focus and not blown out the light. So you place these rails on, they don't screw in, although I dare say in some things they're apparently supposed to be able, because there is screw holes. And I've connected a SATA cable to it. So I'm just going to feed the 3 in from the bottom, but I'll have to reposition the case first, because I'll have to remove the 3 knockouts at the front. So if I lift this up, I should be able to just remove the front doors. Okay. So I'm going to put the hot swap hard drive in the bottom. So I've placed my rails on. An unused cable, I'm just going to feed through just now. And lift the case up. Make sure I'm not trapping any cables. Okay. So that's not going back any further, so it's possible. These are on backwards, so I'll just swap them around. This obviously being a skeletal hard drive case does not help when trying to do something like this. Okay, that's turned around. So again, feed our cable in. Oh, my rail fell off. my hard drive cable back through. I'm going to have to unravel this, otherwise it's not going to sit correctly. Hopefully this will slide in now. And the answer is no. Or maybe. Look, it went in. Okay, let's see if we're lucky with the next two. Okay, put my SAT cable through. This isn't as easy as they make it seem. But that one's now in there. And finally, ouch. I'm getting having a wiggle because of the way it's effectively friction mounted. Oh, wow. Okay. There we go, they're on. So let's move the cables out of the way for now. Oh, the bottom one's not cabled up. That's alright, I have spare cables. These are nice high quality cables MSI provide with their motherboards. Nice locking mechanism. Right, so I'll have to come in from the other side, I think. That's not secure, but thankfully once they're connected, it shouldn't cause a problem. Okay, so that's those three connected. I should now be able to slide in my empty hard drive cavity. Again, I've made sure that the cable for the fans is untangled. There we go. And as you can see, it's already getting quite busy in there. Okay. So the next thing to install will be our HBA card. Obviously in this case I'm not installing a graphic card, so the HP card will go in here. The HP card comes pretty bare bones. I've got a half height bracket and a standard bracket. We'll need to take our screwdriver and match up there. So unscrew this. Slide this out. Hopefully should fit. Okay. And now screw it in. There we go. Okay. Now probably the second hardest part. Connecting the power cables for the HP card. And the HBA cables. So I'm only connecting 4 drives at the moment. So this is a 1 SATA to 4 SATA converter. So these 4 should go into my drives, and this one should be powered from the power supply. If it will focus. Come on. Now let's see if I can get these in without removing the drives because of the drive cages. So if I try feeding them in from the bottom. It doesn't appear to be fitting. There we go. No, again, angle's bad, so let me just change that angle. I can lift that up just now. And actually close it. For some reason, this is the way they're meant to go. Okay. It's going to make cable management a bit more difficult. You can see okay. Close to the end. So make sure we fit. Try this one. The fact that this blocks my view makes it a lot more difficult. Okay, that's the first one out. This is going to be awkward. See, I would have thought that'd be for cable management there. That maybe. Let's find out if I can do it anyway. These are not good cables. And yet they were the ones recommended for this. I suppose it wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for the drive gauges. Okay, rethinking this one. Let's try and get the cables without it being in the case. So, let's just move the case over just now. Just try. No, it's a cable guide. See if that works. So, yeah. There's no way that's going to work. These are very tight tolerances, look at this. Okay, so that was definitely easier without it being in the case. I'm also going to do that. Let's take one of my HBA cables and connect it just now as well. Which way does this run? Okay, it should be numbered. Yep. So, should have one. So better going under, it's probably better going under here for cable management. Okay. Then 2, as you can see there is little numbers on them. Number 3. And finally, number 4. Okay. With these connected now, I shall slide it back into the case. Drop the case up. Feed our HBA cable in. No, you're not. Feed our cable rubber through. That was a lot more difficult than I thought. But now that that's through, I can connect this to one of the ports on here. So I should go for the furthest away one. There we go. And also I've got the bar across here, so I'll be able to cable manage some of that stuff on there. Okay, let's move our machine back into frame. Jesus, it's heavy. End up kicking my light too. Let's connect our SATA drives. I don't like the fact that, in fact, no, we're fine. Okay. That's fine. So the SATA ports on this are here. There's 6 of them. I just need to check the orientation to make sure they go in correctly. This is notches at the far side. So we'll start with the bottom one. So I'm not sure which order they're actually in. There we go. You can see that cable managing this is going to be an absolute nightmare. Okay, so that's these 3 optical drives connected. These need power, and everything else needs power. And I think these are my front USBs actually. I just don't have anywhere that I'm aware I can connect them just now. So they'll need the cable managed out of the way. Let's get our power connections in. We'll start with our motherboard cable. So 24 pin, as it's more commonly known. This is going to be awkward to get into the power supply. But I actually thought cabling it without these connected would make it easier. But I think I'm wrong. So let's just try this. That one wasn't too bad. Okay. Now we need our CPU power. I say 8 pin, as I'm only using 8 pin just now. I may need the other 4 later on, but not just now. So that's up here, which you just can't see. It's in here. Still very difficult to see because of the power supply. I really wish that this case wasn't so heavy. I could actually put it on my desk and then I'd be able to use my overhead cam correctly. Okay, put that in. Put that down here. And right here. And try and spot the correct place to install it. On the power supply. Which I believe is here. Okay, so now I need some SATA and some Molex cables. Here are some SATA cables. And here are some old school Molex cables. So many's on that. There's 4 on that. 2, 3, 4. I might be able to get both off of one set. Check that out. So, peripherals and SATA. Should be one way going. It's not going there. Okay, some in there. And my Molex connections. In there we go. Right, now until the next 4 hard drives come, I just need to cable manage this. So, you get 2 fans here that need cable managed, or that need powered. What we can do is we can connect these together. Okay. And we can take our Molex connector and just take the furthest and the closest one to the power supply and connect it here. Okay. And we'll just have to work it out around the cables right there, probably like so. And then these can come down over here. And this last one can pull these 2 fans, which I'll have to push on. Okay, the battery just died in my camera there without any warning, so hopefully I've not missed any footage. But we need to take these 2 fans effectively and connect them together. So well, because these ones aren't in use, it shouldn't really be an issue, these drive cages, but I'll have to remember that when removing them. If I just roll these under the cables out here. Unravel them a bit. And connect these these two together, just like we did with the other set. I remember why these were so crud. I do not miss bullets connectors, that's for sure. Okay, those are connected. Then we take one of our Molex connections. That's that one. And plug it in here. I think they're connected. Looks a bit screw with. There we go. Okay, move these over here. Try and connect these. Using the extra space here. And hopefully I've got them in the right setting. As always, it's not easy. I genuinely have a lot of respect for people who build those super small form factor PCs. Are they orientated the wrong way again? Is that what it is? No. No, they should be fine. The problem is my hand's actually getting in the way of me seeing what I'm doing. It's probably another example of these should probably have went on first. There we go. And the next one. And then the last one. Okay, so obviously the cables are still a bit of a mess, but everything needs tested before I would button it up anyway. These need to keep it tied over here, away from things. But other than that, I think we're done. Oh, Nope, I was wrong. We have our hard drives to power. So I'm going to need another SATA connector. Because obviously I don't have enough cables in there to try and manage. I need more. Cool. So I think it's now ready to be moved and tested before the final cleanup. That was a pain in the backside. Okay, we're just going to button it up for testing. So I'll take these cables. I'm not going to use it if I can. Just tuck them away in there. My retention bar. Not with the right screws. So, let's check. Real challenge. This does the case close. And it does. There we go. Now we need to move it for testing. Okay, I've plugged my USB drive into my server and powered it on. What it should now do is boot to a EFI BIOS. I've obviously set this in my BIOS to boot from my USB key so that it boots into this. Apologies for the fact that you're looking at a camera pointed at a monitor. My capture card is not picking up the server. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you disliked this video, give it a dislike too. If you get feedback on this or any other videos or suggestions for videos you believe we should do in the future, then please let us know in the comments below. And most of all, thank you for watching.